A lot of people ask me, being a paranormal investigator, what would you say is your most terrifying encounter or experience that you've had in this field? Now, that would be many years ago when I had a group, the Illinois Investigators of Unexplained Phenomenon. This family reached out to me, and this guy had told me that there was something going on in his basement. They were hearing weird sounds. His wife had seen a man down in the basement. He went and checked it out. There was no one down there, and there was no way anyone could have gotten into the basement or gotten past him. And he said his wife was terrified to go down in the basement and do laundry. And he didn't know what to do because they weren't able to do laundry because no one wanted to go down in this basement. So I told him, I said, I'll come over and we'll take a look and try and figure out what's going on. So I kind of came over and not really did an investigation, but kind of just get a feel as to what's going on and see what's happening and hear his sort of testimony or, his firsthand account of things that were happening and from the family, and see if anything happened to me when I was there. And I kind of wanted to fill it out and see if there was any environmental factors or anything that could have played it into this to explain what had been happening to them. So I go over to these people's house, and a real nice family, and I meet the husband, and he says, the stuff's been happening down here in the basement over here. So he takes me down to the stairs, and we go down in the basement, and it was this unfinished basement. There was a washer and dryer, just brick foundation, damp, your regular normal basement. And we're looking around, and he's kind of explaining to me the things that happened. And all of a sudden, I just got this weird feeling, and it felt like, the hairs on the back of your neck standing up kind of feeling. And I felt really sort of freaked out almost. And at that moment, the lights went out in the basement, and it was completely dark. Now, these lights were pull string lights. There were no switch from upstairs that anyone could turn the lights off. These were pull string lights, but yet somehow 3 different pull string lights all went out at the exact same time, and it was pitch black. And I felt like there was someone standing behind me once the lights had gone out, and like it was breathing on my neck, and it felt like they were right behind me. And I knew this guy was right next to me, sort of in front of me, but this, whatever it was behind me, and it felt like a person behind me. And I said to him, I think it's time we try and find our way and go back upstairs. So we kind of filled around and was able to find the stairs and get back upstairs. So I told him, I said, we're going to have to do some more research, figure out what happened at this house, and maybe do an investigation, see if we catch some evidence or something. But I said, for the time being, it seems like this ghost just stays in the basement, and maybe just stay out of the basement for the time being, until we figure out what's going on. But I don't think it's anything, you need to leave. And, I didn't really feel anything bad. It didn't feel like a bad situation. So I said, just maybe avoid the basement until we figure out what's going on. So we, several weeks had passed, and he calls me up and says, hey, the activity has moved up to the 3rd floor in these bedrooms that are up on the 3rd floor. We don't use it, it's storage space, but we can hear someone walking around up there, doors slamming shut, and all kinds of strange sounds coming from up there at night, and it's really freaking us out. Can you come over? And I says, yeah, so I went over there with a couple people, and we kind of did a small investigation, and we started just testing out some things. And in the room where he said he could hear the closet door slamming, I said, well, hey, if anyone's here, can you slam this closet door, to see if it would interact with me? Well, as soon as I said that, I actually have this on videotape too, where you see the door slam shut on its own. It's about 12:45 in the a.m. seems to be a lot of activity focused around this closet. Caught a weird picture, a couple EVPs. I'm a little bit shaky right now because we've been having some, and which is exactly what he said had been happening there. And at the same time, we started taking a bunch of pictures of the same room. It seemed like the activity was focused on this room. So I took pictures of this closet door specifically, and on that closet door, you see that the closet door is closed, and you see a hand in one of the pictures, and it's wrapping around the door. And I actually have the picture too, which I'm going to show you here. And there was no one in the closet. The closet door was closed. There is a small crack when the door is closed, but obviously not big enough that a hand could fit through. And there was, like I said, no one in the closet. There's obviously not a light trick or something interfering with the lens or the camera. So I can't explain it, except that there was a picture of a hand of something supernatural. And we definitely got a lot of evidence, and I think I got an EVP, but I'm not exactly sure where that is. And if I can find that, I'll post it in another video. But this same person, like about a week after that, we were going to come back out and do another investigation, and I was still trying to find information about this home, and I really couldn't. Was having trouble finding any information as to what, who built this home, who owned it, any previous owners, or what, if anything, had happened in this area. Well, about a week later, after this encounter had happened, he called me up at about like 3 or 4 in the morning, and he says that just things went out of control. He said that the lights and the doors were slamming, the lights were flickering and going on and off, doors were opening, and just everything was going nuts. And him and his family fled the home and left, and they were staying at a hotel, and they weren't going to go back there. And he said, the door's unlocked. If you want to go and check it out, you're welcome to, but we're not going to go back in the home, and I won't join you there. So I got another person that was in my group, and I called him up and I said, do you want to go here this morning and check this out? And it was like 7 o'clock in the morning. And so we go over there, and as soon as we pulled up, we knew something had happened because the front door was wide open and the screen door was even open, and you could tell that they left in a hurry, and they didn't even close the front door or the screen door. So we went inside, and as soon as we come in the front door, there was broken glass, stuff had been thrown around. It was like someone just took everything in the house and started throwing it around. And then the person I had brought with me, they yelled for me, and they're like, hey, come here. Go in the kitchen. Every single cabinet door was open, and all the food was like thrown out of the cabinets, and everything in the cabinets was thrown. The dishes were broken. There was just stuff thrown everywhere. And I mean, obviously, I don't think this family would have destroyed all their stuff in this home to get attention or anything like this. And they weren't really trying to get attention. They were just trying to live in their home, which I could tell that this was sincerely something had happened. And another weird thing that I noted is on the wall, man, it was oozing stuff. And I don't want to necessarily subscribe to the fact that there's such thing as an ectoplasm, but this looked like some sort of weird substance that I couldn't figure out how it got on the wall. It wasn't blood, it wasn't water, it wasn't moisture. It was like some gelatinous goo that was almost like coming out of the wall, you know? Like the wall was almost like, it was like seeping and oozing out of the wall, and it was really weird. And I did take a hammer and I hit into the drywall, and I looked back there and I felt it was all dry. there's nothing behind the drywall. It was almost like somehow this was inside the drywall itself, and it was oozing out the drywall. And I couldn't explain that. And I think like it was such a severe case of haunting that I'd ever seen before. And the crazy thing about that is that these people end up, letting the house go back to the bank, and we never got to go back and investigate and do more investigation and research. But and as far as I know, that the owners that have been there, I don't know if they've had problems or not. I haven't really reached out to them, but I thought that was probably the craziest case that I'd ever seen, where like it was, stuff actually getting broken and destroyed, and the house actually like oozing stuff out of the walls. But yeah, that's probably my most terrifying encounter as a paranormal investigator. But thank you guys for listening. I'm Parahan. Peace out.